do I feel good today? What's up, everybody? Welcome in to The Early Edge, your sports betting brand of record. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting, and it's really not even close. Now, all of the odds on our little show are provided by our incredible partners, the king of all sportsbooks, BetMGM. Now, before we look forward, we must look back, and yesterday, won some, lost some. Counselor doing what the counselor does. Duke taking care of business. Keep your eye, though. We're always telling you, educate and entertain. Hunter Dickinson, second game last night. Kansas, Kentucky, 27-21, 89-84. Keep an eye on those two teams as well. Now, today, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Me, my man AB, EC, and Chip with our Week 12 college football mega preview. The rankings changed just a little bit last night. We'll talk about that later today. But speaking of change, was there a change today in the world of the NFL? Before I tell you, let's bring in the stars of the show. Because you know them, you love them, and we're doing things a little bit differently this morning. My man Amags is here. The counselor is here. The maestro is here. And guess who's going to be in the chat? The guru, Martin W. Green. If you have any questions for him, put them into the chat. He will answer them in real time for the entire show. Now, before we get to the big news, my man went 1-0 last night. He gets our 15 seconds today. Counselor, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, it was pretty easy to take Duke yesterday. I mean, I hate to reduce it to like this obtuse explanation that doesn't have a ton of value. But anytime Michigan State's coming off a loss to James Madison, again, all roads lead back to James Madison. I got to question where they are at in this season. You contrast that with Duke coming off a loss to Arizona, certainly a respectable loss, even though it was at Cameron Indoor. John Shire came out. He said, we got to clean up some of the fundamentals. We got to get to the rebounding. We got to do some of the small stuff. That's the exact language I want to hear early in the season. And we saw that from Duke. We saw continued poor shooting from the perimeter from Michigan State. Michigan State will correct itself. But as everybody knows, Tom Izzo teams, they usually start correcting themselves slowly as they approach March Madness. We're not anywhere near March Madness. I really liked Duke yesterday, and they covered easily.
Yeah, really nice explanation. Keep an eye on Michigan State in February. It's what they always do. Now, gentlemen, we're going to start the show today with a little breaking news overnight, and you almost can't make it up. You almost feel bad for certain people at certain times. This is according to Adam Schefter today. Browns players now out for the season include, look at that first name, Deshaun Watson. It has been revealed and reported that he has a broken bone in his shoulder. He will undergo surgery or may already have. Regardless, he is out for the season. How does that affect us? Well, they have, or are part of, gentlemen, the best division right now in all of football. They're 6-3. They're right in the mix. They just beat the Ravens. And now this? So the odds are all going to change, and they already have. The Browns were plus 245. Now they're plus 425. So, Maestro, I'll start with you. How does this change how you're looking at this particular division and the Browns?
Well, it changes everything for the Browns, and I bet the front office would like to go back 2 weeks and trade for Josh Dobbs. I mean, Josh Dobbs is 2-0, and they could have had him. Deshaun Watson now out for the season. You're stuck with P.J. Walker, who's thrown 5 picks in 3 games. Somehow that defense is so great that they've won 2 of those games. But if P.J. Walker doesn't step up to at least where he was last year, the Browns are not going anywhere. However, the spread for this week is very intriguing. I'm going to look at the Browns now under a field goal against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have been outgained in every single game, yet miraculously are 6-3. Deshaun Watson actually gave away the game the first time with 2 defensive touchdowns allowed to the Steelers. So I'm going to look at the Browns now that it's under a field goal. This line went from 4 down to 2 or 2.5.
So many numbers are changing, the individual game, to win the division. All of that changes today. By the way, a little added, that stings a little bit more. Does anybody know who the backup quarterback was in training camp for the Cleveland Browns? Counselor, who was it?
It was none other than Joshua Dobbs.
Whoopsies. It was Joshua Dobbs. And they traded him to Arizona before the season started. And look what he's doing now, and look what they could have had. So, Counselor, I come to you. How does this change your thinking?
First of all, to Larry's point, I do like the Browns -2 at home against the Steelers. I loved the Browns -4. It was a play I was going to put in on SportsLine, but I wanted to wait to hear the Deshaun Watson news. Obviously, now that comes out, so I'm glad I didn't put it out at -4. Something I'm going to take a hard look at, but this has so many implications specifically for the AFC and the AFC North. First of all, I think this gives some hope to some of the AFC teams on the outside looking in, like your Buffalo Bills, which, by the way, they're plus 200 just to make the playoffs. That's how sort of outside they are in terms of looking into the playoffs. I think the Texans, the Steelers, who I know look like they're playoff bound, but I expect them to regress. Even the Chargers, Jets, and Raiders, maybe they have some hope. But on the other hand, you look at the Cleveland Browns schedule. Oh my gosh, is it easy? They should coast into the playoffs given that they have a good record already. They play the Steelers, as we just mentioned. They play the Broncos, the Rams, the Jaguars, the Bears, the Texans, the Jets, and the Bengals. I think the Browns are definitely playoff bound. The question you have to ask yourself is, can they win the AFC North? And honestly, at plus 425, I actually don't hate that. If PJ Walker is just average, I think this defense can carry them. And it's for two reasons. One is Cincinnati doesn't have the greatest record. They might lose Thursday night. Well, we'll be talking about that on Thursday night primetime. The other thing is the Ravens have a much harder schedule than the Cleveland Browns. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that the Browns can chase some of these wins and knock them down. So I'm not saying it's a bet I'm making right now, but I'm certainly thinking about it. The Browns to win the division at plus 425. Look at their schedule and you might be convinced.
And let's remember also, they were winning games without Deshaun Watson. Now, it wasn't as pretty, or the offense didn't move as well, but they still won games with PJ Walker, the Fighting XFLs. By the way, Ravens, Browns, and the Steelers, all three have just 3 losses. So they're right there, tied at the top. Ravens have played one more game. All right, Amags, I'm coming to you. My man Matt in the chat says, Amags without a hat just doesn't look right. But I understand. You're trying to look like you're a junior instead of a freshman in high school. I get it. What are your thoughts today on the Browns?
Yeah, Coach, it's like when you get that new backpack that you see everybody has, or the nicer jeans or something, right? I've got to level up a little bit. So I'm trying to do something a little bit different. No hat here. And I won't go too far into depth because I think that, these two other guys here really hit on a lot of things. But there is an interesting angle with the Bills and trying to make the playoffs and just teams that are kind of on that cusp, as Sia mentioned. If the Browns, if this defense really can't be their best offense, I think that's probably the way this is going to go for them. It's going to be defensive battle after defensive battle. So if that can't work out for them and they end up piling up some losses, there are teams that are maybe on the outside looking in that, like a 5-5 Bills team, that they get a little bit healthier. I think that they certainly have a much better chance now than trying to go against a 6-3 team, which honestly, Deshaun Watson was looking like he was rolling towards the end of that game last week. We saw the pick 6 from the defense. That's probably how they're going to have to win games like that. So like I said, I think it'll be scrappy. But there's some teams on the outside maybe I'd be looking to put some money on.
Really interesting angle there that, to be honest with you, I didn't really think about before the show today. And as we look at the wild card situation right now, if the season ended today, Steelers, Browns, the Texans would be into the playoff. The Texans would be in the playoffs. Right behind them, Cincinnati 5-4, Indianapolis 5-5, and then Buffalo at 5-5, and the Raiders are 5-5. So there's a whole bunch of teams that this affects, and maybe those are the teams we need to be looking at. Good idea, Amags. Good idea. All three of you. Thank you very much for that discussion. Now, before we get to our award-winning game that we like to call Fade or Follow, you guys know that we are busy all day long, especially here.
We need the sports news anywhere.
We've got breaking news to bring you.
Then get your sports anytime you want them. Big trade news overnight to discuss.
Because we know you need sports all the time.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
A legend adds to their legacy.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, anywhere, anytime, all the time.
All the damn time. And I'm telling you what, in a couple of months, that's what you're going to be saying about the early edge. Did I say too much? By the way, David says, Amags is my guy. Do not mess with him. I will mess with him if I want to. Now, Not My Name says, Amags looks like Carlos Condit. Do you know who Carlos Condit is, Amags?
So I just had to look up who Carlos Condit is.
You do.
I don't mind that. 6'2", 170. I'd love to be 6'2".
Carlos Condit, for those of you who don't know, is a former UFC fighter, but they look like twins. I mean, it's a doppelganger if I ever saw one. All right, gentlemen, we got a big-time game tonight. And last night, full transparency, I cashed the over again. Sixers and the Pacers, 3 nights separated, same two teams. They went into the 250s again. Tonight's a different story. They're home to the Celtics. So, Maestro, I'm going to start with you. 4.5 Celtics on the road, the total 226.5. That, of course, according to BetMGM. Are we fading or following the road team tonight as the favorite?
I'm going to follow him, but this is pretty expensive right now. They must be assuming that Kristaps Porzingis is going to play, despite the fact that he's questionable. The Sixers beat the Celtics by 3 a few games ago, and since then the Celtics have been on a mission, crushing the Nets, the Knicks, the Raptors by 20+ basically every single time, and they don't have Kelly Oubre. They don't have Nick Batum. Those two guys played big minutes. Oubre started, obviously, against the Celtics in that game. Both were plus in the plus-minus, so the Sixers are without 2 key guys and on a back-to-back. So, yeah, the Celtics makes a lot of sense.
All right, so 1 for the Celtics. Counselor, coming to you. Fading or following the favorite?
Yeah, 2 for the Celtics. This is a weird situation in the sense that the line is really starting to move towards the Celtics. So I definitely think sharp money and perhaps public money is on the road team here. Celtics actually, one of their losses is to the Sixers. What Larry said about being on the back-to-back, I'm not entirely sure that their star is healthy either. So I think this is a good spot for the Celtics maybe to run away with it. Not run away like a complete blowout, but like a 7 or 8 point win.
Okay, so 2 on the Celtics. So Amags, a.k.a. Carlos, are you fading or following the Celtics?
I'll follow the Celtics. I wouldn't pay the -190. I think Larry's right. Probably a bit too rich there. But, the 4.5, look, they're going to cover this, especially if Embiid doesn't play. I do like the Celtics here, especially the back-to-backs for me have been really solid in betting. So look for those. And especially coming off the tournament games. So, right, when you have these tournament games, the league has made a big push that these guys need to play in these tournament games. They've got deals coming up, TV deals, marketing deals, all these different things that this kind of hinges upon. So they're making a big deal that these guys have to play. Look at those next games. Say if they're on a back-to-back, it's the second game is on that Wednesday or something. I think that's a good spot to bet against a team. Embiid also, I think it was 39 minutes last night. I think if he doesn't play, it's easy for the Celtics.
All right, very, very good. Amags, I need you to drop out and come back in. I think your connection's off just a little bit, if you don't mind doing that for me. Now, in the meantime, I can tell you this, that all of these bets, you can make them at one place. BetMGM, that's right. And new BetMGM customers, you can sign up today and get $200 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10, and you will receive $200 instantly in bonus bets, regardless of your wager's outcome, with bonus code EDGE200. That is EDGE200. Now, gentlemen, I use the word new. So guess what? Today's a very special day. We need to send out a congratulations. We're changing lives. Dominic in the chat says this. What up, Coach? And the Early Edge fam. Took a break at the end of baseball season, but making a return live from the delivery room. My man is watching the Early Edge as wifey is popping out another little one. Oh, what's the middle name got to be? Is it going to be Counselor? Middle name going to be the Maestro? Oh, Coach, perhaps? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think let's see which bets hit tonight, and then we'll know.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's very fair. Counselor, have you ever watched a show in, like, she's an ex-wife now, but if I would have done that when my kids were born, she would have lit me on fire if I had a show on in the delivery room.
So I have 2 children. My first kid was born the day before Deshaun Watson threw the game-winning touchdown to Hunter Renfrow for Clemson. This is obviously some time ago. I had a future on Clemson. So the day after, we're still sort of like in the hospital, obviously, because that's how it works. And I've got the camera on mute. My wife is resting. My new kid is resting. And I'm sitting on this futon watching Clemson. It was like a last-second touchdown pass to Hunter Renfrow. Perfect pattern, perfect route, perfect catch, perfect design. And I was quietly cheering. So I can absolutely relate to this. Sports are on everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. They're always on.
Maestro, you have anything like that?
It's just interesting because my first child, my son, was born the same week that SportsLine launched. So it always it was very meaningful to me in both ways.
Wow. God, I love stories like that. And sincerely, thank you. I mean, you guys have made this show unbelievable. You watch it everywhere. It means the world to us. So thank you for that. And tell the little one we said, what's up? In 21 years, we got him or her. All right. Now, You guys know we have all the sports. We do everything here at the Early Edge and also at CBS. And one thing that's ramping up right now that I'm excited for is little college basketball.
It's never too soon for college basketball. Don't miss the Baha Mar Hoops Bahamas Championship on CBS Sports Network.
Well, wait a second. What are we doing? What are we doing? Amags is back looking clear, but ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show the one and only from south of London, England, the guru himself, Martin W. Green. Martin, you're just kind of dropping in. What are you doing today, sir? Oh no!
Speaking of dropping.
Oh,
You-
amateur hour.
Oh, I've been talking to people on the chat, so I didn't want to have my mute button on the whole
Fair.
time. So
That's fair.
apologies about that. I was waiting for some sort of Stone Cold Steve Austin music to introduce me as well, which didn't happen. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I was writing soccer picks in the delivery room during all three of my children's births.
Are you kidding?
So no, loads. Yeah, my wife's well accustomed to it. Never take a day off. So and they did pretty well actually as well. So maybe it was the pressure of the environment and stuff. I don't know.
Isn't it amazing what we remember? Oh, I hit all three of those bets for all three of my kids.
That was the best thing that happened that day. So
You guys are amazing. All right, well, since you're here and I saw all of your incredible chat questions and answers, we may try that from time to time. I really enjoyed that. But since you're here live and in living color, we've got some soccer throughout the week. It's kind of a light week, but we've got some value ahead of time. Would you mind starting our board off today, sir?
correct, coach. Yeah, it's the international break, so there's no club soccer taking place, but lots of international games, and the real action picks up tomorrow. So all my picks are taking place Thursday. Starting off in Slovakia. Slovakia beat Iceland 2-1 on the road in June. They've won 3 of their subsequent 5 matches, and they're now on the brink of qualifying for Euro 2024. Big tournament taking place next year. They simply need to avoid defeat when they host Iceland in Bratislava tomorrow, and that will secure them a place at the tournament. A draw would be good enough. That would seal the deal. But playing for a draw is a bit risky because you can let the opposition come on and score goals. So I think they should go for the win. They do have enough quality within their ranks to beat a technically limited Iceland team. So the odds on a home win look attractive. So I'm going for Slovakia on the money line at -125. Also going for a little parlay. Austria have 5 wins from 7 games so far in their qualifying campaign. They're already assured of a place at Euro 2024, but they could still overtake Belgium and finish top of the group. So I think they should beat Estonia, who are bottom with just 1 point from 6 games thus far. Things aren't going well for Estonia, and I think Austria should outclass them. And I'm going to combine it with Brazil, draw, no bet. Brazil have been a bit shaky in their last 2 games. They lost to Uruguay last time out. They have a few injury concerns, but they still have a wealth of world-class talent within their ranks. I think ultimately they should be a bit too strong for Colombia. Bit more cautious, draw no bet. Put them both together, +103.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get it done. And I'll ask you one very, very simple question. Do you want to do the work? I didn't think so. Now, we do have to give a yellow card to Snake, because after you mentioned the Stone Cold Steve Austin entrance, everybody in the chat was like, yeah, why didn't Snake cue that up? Why didn't he get the official drop-in music? And Guru, you're right. You're right. We fumbled that. It's a yellow card for us. Next time, I promise, you'll get your proper entrance. All right?
Thank you. The sort of respect I deserve.
There's no question about that. There is no question about that. Now, Grant in the chat says, good man. Babies come and go, but props are forever. Grant is not married. I promise you that. Grant is not married. All right, Amags, you look clear now. You look fresher now. And now we're ready to go. Because as I look at my notes, there is a team out on the West Coast that Big Cheesy always tells us, light the beam, light the damn beam. Well, tonight, we need that beam to be lit. Why? No! Oh, Amags. It's what happens. You got to have a hashtag next level Wi-Fi. Let's go. I'll give out his pick for him. And Larry, you can help me because you've been all over this game and this team the last couple of days. So he likes the Kings on the money line plus 102 tonight. Why should we like that side, Larry?
Well, De'Aaron Fox is back. Much to my chagrin, he came back Monday when I faded the Kings and was on the Cavs. He was doubtful. He suited up. He basically did whatever he wanted. They're a completely different offense. I think over the past 2 seasons, this team averages 15 more points with him in the lineup. Some questions about the Lakers, who is actually going to suit up in this game. So, yeah, I like the pick from Amags with the Kings.
Yeah, because last night LeBron played pretty – not heavy minutes because they were blowing out Memphis, but back-to-back nights, he either doesn't play or plays limited minutes. Maestro, stand by. I'm coming back to you in a moment. Now, Sia Nejad, last night, I was all over the action. We had the Toledo over, I'm saying personally, and that hit, and I had Eastern Michigan on the money line, which was quite the sweat in overtime, winning by 3, and then Western Michigan could do nothing against Northern Illinois. Those are the 3 picks from SportsLine. Now, tonight, there's just 2 games. And if I know you, like I think I know you, you've got at least one pick on one of the Maction games tonight. Am I right?
You're right. And I'll be honest, Maction is one of the conferences. I've been really good on these weekday games, but I've struggled a little bit in some of the Maction games for a variety of different reasons that we don't need to get into. I mean, I've only lost 2, I think, but one of them was Central Michigan. When I had Central Michigan last week against Western Michigan, they actually, Coach, you might recall, they made a huge comeback in the third quarter, scored 21 straight points, and then their star running back, Marion Lukes, fumbled the ball, and that basically led to a momentum shift. They ended up losing. Well, I'm betting against Central Michigan now, and I'm taking Ohio. I think Central Michigan, I just don't think they're well equipped to A, beat Ohio, or B, to cover the spread. This line opened around 7 or 8 at most books. It's now up to 10.5 and even 11. I still like it at 11. Listen, Central Michigan, they like to run the ball. Their quarterback, Jace Bauer, he's just really not dynamic. He's technically a dual threat, but he doesn't do much with his arm. The offensive line doesn't really help him out much in pass protection. I don't think Central Michigan's going to be able to run the ball against Ohio. I think Marion Lukes is really good. They need this win. Central Michigan needs this win just to become bowl eligible. I just don't think it's going to happen. Ohio's defense is very, very good. And as soon as you stymie the run and you make Jace Bauer pass the ball, I think that's when Central Michigan gets in a lot of trouble. So I think Ohio, they're pretty balanced on offense. This is not going to be a super high scoring game. I think they'll put up enough points. I think they'll create some short fields by forcing Central Michigan into some passing situations. And again, while Central Michigan is really going to want it, I just don't think they can get there. I think we're going to see Ohio win this game by 14 or more.
And if you're a SportsLine subscriber, then you know that the over, according to our simulations, is also one of the plays. The other game tonight, don't tell the bosses, but I'm going to give this one out for free. Buffalo, Miami of Ohio. The spread is 9. Miami of Ohio, according to our simulations, is going to win by 10. So Miami is the play. And the over 39.5 is also, according to our simulations, the play. God, I hope I don't get in trouble for that. But this is also a solid. So many of you have joined what we're doing at SportsLine. But guess what? I'll do you a solid right here, right now. I'll give you 60% off. Use that promo code COACH, my name. There's a QR code, sportsline.com/join if you prefer there. And be a part of what we're doing. We're growing so fast. Knowledge is power. That's what this business is all about. Now, as we come up on our 3rd anniversary, and as the show continues to grow, I can't help but always think back to day number 1. It was just me and my guy, the Maestro. And look where we are today. Sir, bring us home.
All right, starting in college hoops, the Georgetown Hoyas, they were terrible last year. For some reason, Ed Cooley decided he wanted to coach that team after going 12 seasons at Providence, making the NCAA tournament 7 times. He brought in a totally new team. They haven't put it together yet. They just blew a big lead and lost at home to Holy Cross as 17.5-point favorites. But this is a 28-point spread, a 28-point swing. Now they're 10.5-point dogs at Rutgers tonight. Rutgers probably going to win the game, but Rutgers is all about defense, all about rebounding. They are not going to score a ton, I don't believe. They are 296 in effective field goal percentage, just too many points to give Ed Cooley and some good transfers that he's got on that Georgetown roster. And then in the NBA, back to those Sacramento Kings, De'Aaron Fox looked totally healthy. I'm going to take him over 26.5 tonight against the Lakers. Had 37 in the first meeting with the Lakers, averaged 30 against the Lakers last season. Gabe Vincent is out, so you're looking at D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves as the guys who might be trying to slow down De'Aaron Fox. He makes all the difference for this team. They need him to score. I'm going to go over 26.5.
There is nothing like a late night sweat out here on the West Coast. By the way, Maestro, you know we build this brand on respect, correct? And we expect everybody from #TheCrew to live under that mantra. So guess who dropped in just moments before you started your take at almost 25 minutes after the show started?
Who did that?
Guru's mint tea buckets. Apparently couldn't show up on time, but drops in 25 minutes into the show to get his own shine. I see you, Buckets, at 7:25. By the way, Lynn Strood has the line of the day. Just imagine Will Ferrell. He says, Amags is like, Ma, get out the Wi-Fi. I'm talking to my friend. I can just see Amags right now. He is furious. Oh, he is so mad at Cox or any of those internet companies right now, just screaming at people. But we are still here like we are every single weekday, twice on Sundays. Grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here is the recap, courtesy of my man, the Snake, on the ones and the twos. Ohio and Maction -10.5. Martin W. Green, these games are tomorrow. Got a lot of qualifiers going on during the week right now. Slovakia money line -125. And then let's put a little EC special. Austria on the money line and Brazil on the draw no bet line +103. Then Amags, one play tonight. Sacramento Kings on the money line +102. Big Cheesy says, I love your pick. Beam will be bright tonight. And then the Maestro, two plays, one college, Georgetown +10.5, one NBA prop. De'Aaron Fox over 26.5 points -119. If you are a SportsLine member, then you already know that you could have gotten all of these picks an hour ago. That's the advantage of being a part of what we do. Beat the number. So do not forget, later today, 3 p.m. Eastern time, our college football mega preview with me, AB, EC, and Chip Patterson. And then we are here tomorrow at 10 a.m. All of the odds powered by BetMGM. So with all that being said, your day is now started. Get out there into the world. Be kind to one another. Pay it forward. Bring somebody along. And remember this. There's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Wednesday tickets and Thursday straight to the pay window. My entire crew, Lobo, Guru, Counselor, Amags, my man, the Maestro, and never forget about the Snake, our executive producer of this entire brand. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about. Have a great day. Early Edge.